We had identified several transit chief positions that we were going to eliminate as a part of the budget process as we were reducing the size of our workforce. We also had a employee group, the PACE, the Partnership for Achieving Comprehensive Equity, going on. And through that process, there were a lot of things that were identified as being barriers or limitations for internal employees moving up in the organization. Once the City of Seattle vote came through and we found out that we had to do a pretty quick ramp up for service, we identified that we were going to be hiring a multitude of positions, and part of that was also adding back in those chief positions. We broke it down into a 3-stage process. So we had a pre-recruitment process, a recruitment process, and then a post-recruitment process. So part of the idea behind that was that we were understanding that we had a very well-qualified, diverse, talented pool of employees. However, when you took a look at those employees, resume writing has changed over the course of the years, interviewing skills have changed over the course of the years, and these employees have been dedicated to their job tasks, not necessarily dedicated to padding their resumes.
I started training in January 2012 as a part-time transit operator. And after we finished the training, February was the first month I started driving on my own. And that's how I started as a part-time transit operator, still also going to school. And that's how I started on 2012, February. After I graduated last year, I have been putting up a lot of applications throughout different companies and even different departments in King County, Seattle City, Light, and everything. And I heard the Department of Transportation was hiring 7 new chiefs. And I had my resume and everything prepared and ready to go, so I applied the position. Normally nowadays, when you apply for a job, you just doing resume and applications and everything through online. You don't meet or interact or see any human interactions of the people who are hiring on the other side. But this was different. This time, and the Career Service and the Human Resource Department in King County Department of Transportation put a good program together to help the employees who needed resume help or mock interviews and other help for the process. The panel members of the interviews, the panel was diverse as well, so which is quite good when you are diverse individual. I've been here since '96, and sometimes and to have a diverse panel helps, instead of just going to a room with people who are totally different than you are, and your expectations may not, rise to the level you think, If anyone wanted to discriminate you, then it would be easier. But when you have a diverse panel and the system, you find the system to be transparent, and the help that the King County is providing to the employees to better themselves. I found that to be very interesting, and I liked that in the interviews, even if I didn't get the job. We have operators here who flew airplanes, who are accountants, who have, very smart and have degrees, master's degrees and everything. But some of them were not aware of the idea that a transit operator you don't have to go through the ladder to be a chief or a general manager or something in King County. If you have the education, the experience and the skills and what they're looking for, the door is open for people to improve.